sprinted there and I sprinted back, and they finished the vetoes before I got here. I did not have time to tell them what to do today, so I can only hope that they didn't make a similar mistake as they did last week. I have full faith they're gonna pick Icebox. All right, I'm leaving. I'm quitting my job. See you guys later.
Listen,
I'm done.
I think we have to trust Movistar.
Meg, they played this entire split with this roster. They've won one map.
I
want to guess what map that was?
You. No.
You want to know?
Icebox.
Just guess. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
To be fair, both teams do like Icebox, so maybe Koi were like, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, because Casey really doesn't like Lotus. Casey hates Lotus.
So I have something to soothe you. Please listen to the sweet sounds of my voice for a second.
Okay.
Koi, Koi, come on the voice.
Do you know what? That's actually soothed me.
It worked.
Yeah,
Oh,
it has actually worked. I'm sorry. I'm being a little bit hyperbolic here. Only because I really just care so much about Koi, one of the boys. However, does this make you guys a little bit nervous that the first two maps is Lotus Sunset
I think
into KC?
For me, the map veto is more a little bit weird. Why are Koi picking into Lotus? Like, that for me is strange. Even with the roster change, KC beat them 13-2 on this map back in stage 1. So that's like a kind of salty memory for them. And it's a map that they've won in the past 2 weeks as well for KC. So I don't know if that's like a power move from Koi to go, do you know what, we don't really care, we're going to pick it into anyway.
So do you think that it was a power move last week when they didn't ban Ascent and pick Haven?
That's what I mean, like I'm not really understanding what the thought process is behind the map vetoes. What do you
Well,
think?
I have to say, I think they're getting lucky here with Carmen Corp picking into Sunset, because they've not played this map the whole year. So going into this, I guess they have somewhat of the shock factor, maybe KC not knowing exactly what they're going to pull out of the bag. But of course, we have seen sort of KC on that map be quite successful. So with the Arvez on the Phoenix, finally, could we see a win?
Yeah, I think so. Now I see what's been going on. It's okay. Do you know what? The way that I could soothe myself with the Koi jingle is these are incredibly capable, talented players. You know, they brought in Baddie, G Monster and the tank for a reason. And I think so far, at least, Baddie has been very consistent. Monster at his moments. I think the tank has been a little bit misused in terms of his role and agent, except for Icebox. Even though he was misused, they still won. Sorry, I'm just harping on them now. But I do think if it was a time for them to warm back into the stage and to bring out a more cohesive showing, it probably is today.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the tank, because that is someone that we've kind of had question marks around from joining this team, you know, having a first-time ISO last week ever in his career. Yeah, he's been playing a bunch of different agents so far since joining Koi, but
okay,
to the agent select, I don't know, what do you think about this, Meg?
I'm just trying to figure it out. From what I can see at a quick glance, this is pretty much, I guess, what I was expecting. I do look to the Filu Neon here to kind of come through and be a very pivotal part of Movistar Koi, finding those aggressive sort of starting picks as well, getting those first bloods, with, of course, the breach to sort of assist with the utility.
I wonder what compelled them to have a bit of a flip like this, right? They had a very different way of playing this last week.
Yeah, when we look at Koi, you know, they were not running this comp. It's totally different, right? We saw the Vise come through from them. They've decided to just drop the Sentinel and go back to a kind of double controller idea, similar to how they were playing on the Icebox, of course. And it's Flya that's going to be jumping onto this breach. I'm intrigued to see how that looks, because, of course, it's not an agent that we really get to see Flya play very often. So how is he going to be helping support Philo with those flashes, being able to help him get those entries? I think we've mentioned this before time and time again. We see the Neon being a little disjointed from the breach at times because they can just run in and take space. So I'm intrigued to see how they can build up that synergy, given that they were the two players that were, of course, kept on at Movistar Koi going into this stage.
These stats are incredibly interesting. Seeing them pick into Lotus with 20% out of 5 is wild.
Yeah, also, the tank's sober on Lotus, but that is all from us over here. It's time to toss this over to Mitchell, Thomas, and their pal from BBL, Gregory.
Thank you very much, Sue. Gregory's Angels standing by, and of course we've got our leader with us. Thanks for joining us, Coach. Great to have you back.
Is it?
It is indeed.
Oh, yeah,
we
we
love
love
having you here.
Someone was mad enough to invite me back a second time. But no, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Seems you brought a bit of a fan club with you.
And the boys, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like the executive lounge this week is very excited to see you.
Yeah, that's a rare thing to be saying, that's for sure.
Well, either way, we're going to be getting into Lotus, our first map up. And of course, context-wise for KC, They will have beaten Apex already. If they win this one, they're in a very good position for playoffs. And for KOI, it's a very different side of the story. If they lose here, they're in trouble. But what I will say going into this, so far, they have played the 2 best teams in the group. So they're not done yet.
We saw a little toasty to start off this game. KC and KOI, they've played a lot throughout many iterations of franchise in other leagues, in other tournaments, and never have KOI managed to beat them, and never has it mattered more at 0-2. Pistol round already underway, and it will be KC on the attack side here on their opponent's choice. They chose to start on the aggression, and it looks like KOI are going to match them. An early fight that goes their way and keeps on going. A 4v2 with Zagetsu low.
An early brawl off the bat. Kind of the expectation with the comp change, having that double initiator, enabling them to take space that little bit more. And a bit of an awkward spot for the spike to be dropped. Not the most helpful for the attack. Zagetsu low. Martin will have to be the focal point.
I think you pointed out there, Tom, that's exactly what we're going to expect to see out of KOI here, Movie Star KOI on the defense. They've changed this comp. How much can they fight KC now?
Well, not very well in that fight. Martin dead on the floor, 9 HP on Zagetsu. We'll look to the future rounds for a real battle. And although Zagetsu, he was on the list, he's got a couple aces under his belt. He'll need a 4K here to pass the mark, and he will not come close. Filu with a triple to open it up. A man who has had his struggles here in the league, but his best foot forward starting out this map.
So I kind of want to ask you, obviously we've seen the compositional change coming in from Movistar KOI. Obviously, as said, it looks like a more proactive approach, but I kind of want to look at KC. If you were trying to beat out this double duelist comp, is this the sort of idea that you would be going for?
Potentially. I think it is one of the
that
things.
Feels like a no.
That is definitely one of the things, because I think Karma and Core, especially with this type of comp, you can see how they've been running it on a lot of their other maps as well. They have the ability to fight. That's their strength. They make the most of Martin and Aves, and this seems to be the way that Movistar KOI want to approach it. Let's get the util in there, let's send Philo in, and get up in their faces. Definitely can work if they make the most of it.
Already you saw that aggression work out. They've got a round on the board with the early fight to Rubble. Now what should be an easy task. You're up against Classics. They've bought a lot of weapons too. Sometimes you'll see the 2 pistols brought into a round, giving you a margin for error. But every pick here for KC will be costly on the other side. For now though, it is only the 1 to be found.
Already looking good. Batty G will be able to clean things up. 3 players still left standing, but as you said, a little bit more costly than a normal round where maybe you had a couple of pistols in play. But I think from KOI's perspective, maybe just wanting to play that little bit safer, especially when you see some of the talent that's on the other side.
There's plenty of that on both teams.
Who's your highlight then for Movistar KOI? I'm intrigued, because I feel like...
I think it's going to be Monster, if I'm honest. If that's the player that I'm looking at on that roster, it's by far and away the one that I'm most excited for. We've not really seen him have that opportunity to really go and show himself at the top level. That's really what I'm looking forward to seeing now.
He's done his time in the Tier 2. Now he's on that main stage, a chance to shine. For KOI, this is a round that has a few weaknesses with those lost weapons. They'll patch the gaps with a couple of pistols. Obviously, KC bringing in their first full buy round. A lot of light shields, but that Outlaw is being left on the ground the previous round, so it won't be haunting them coming into the late stages. You see KC grouping up for a C hit, and it looks like KOI have a read. Aves is left behind to cut the rotate, and he does well finding Flyer.
Yeah, that was still one of the pistol players, though, so a decent amount of damage done. Of course, the variation for KOI is now not having that Sentinel. A lot of the time, you're going to see that C site become that little bit weaker. Have to put that extra pressure there. You can already look in the tank, just trying to find additional information. That's what's going to play into their hands in this round, if they can find the stack in the right place.
You got to look at the fact that Flyer, he didn't die in that first round. He gave his weapon over. It is only a pistol removed, but there was a reason for that. He didn't want to be in those early fights. He wants that breach util to try to pad the gap, but now when it comes to trading blows, it's the weaker weapons that come out on top. Monster, the man you highlighted, Val, well, he has certainly done his fair share. Sadix left alone in a 1v3.
Yeah, Filu's already here as well. He was waiting for that rotation to come back in. Zanak has been spotted, and I like this from Movistar KOI, not looking to overextend. He may even try and just take this back to the A site where at least they'll have some freedom to plant.
I think the reason the round has gone the way that it has done is just been Movistar KOI's read. We see that even though Aves gets a lot of space in towards B main, manages to find the pick and slow down that rotation, they've got that tower set up on C site, and a tank rotating through Waterfall really, really quickly after they see the fake pressure from Sadak.
Sadak blinded up. He wanted to get ahead of this play, maybe pick them off, but instead it's to float back in, and it's even just an tank leading with the Sheriff. The human recon, but he ends up being deadly as well. A 3-0
You're used to stuff
start.
like that, aren't you? Like a French guy with a Sheriff causing you problems?
No, there was absolutely no need for that, Tom, but reliving my nightmares, as I'm sure KC will be when they look back at this round. It looked like a fight that they were favored in, but those Bulldogs did so much work.
I think the really key thing is that info that Filu's giving to them. After they hear the Sadak util towards A on Fade, they call that it's just one player alone.
No.
That's the sort of reaction you want to see. Good stuff, Bambino, from up north.
Wow.
Filu's info allows them to over-rotate towards C, and they win the round off of the bat.
Wow, this has put KC in a pretty awkward spot. Aves, though, I think when this team has been truly on fire, look like they can beat anybody. He has been the catalyst. He's been that superstar. And they're going to give him a Guardian in an attempt to try and do some damage. He's also not massively far away from his ult, so he can find some damage in this round. There is still some potential.
You can definitely see that KC wanted to go for a faster round. All 5 players hit the barrier, trap left behind them. This is going to be direct. It's going to be punchy. Filu's already got the read, dodging that first little bit of utility. Has support on the backside as well. 3 players here. Fly is standing by. Stun already burned up, and KC, they'll turn tide. They're not going to go towards this A site. Even moving back to B, though, they haven't dragged full rotates, and they're being spotted. That gives Filu a pick.
No.
Nice shot from Sadak, but it's the 145.
It's brutal. Even still, though, Elite has gone one better, and Flyer on the back of the site has to be incredibly careful. Has some support, though. The bodyguard of Natank has managed to hold the line. It's looking a little bit dangerous there, pal.
I think that we're starting to see actually the value out of Movistar KOI's comp here. You see KC going straight, going quite hard, but instantly they get stopped by some really good counter util from the double initiators. That's what we want to see out of Movistar KOI today, if they're going to stop that over-aggression that you spoke about, Tom, where you can get the Martin, Aves onto the front lines, taking those advantageous fights, and getting them into a really good spot in the round. But so far, Movistar KOI seem to have the numbers everywhere where they need them to be, and they are absolutely loving the momentum they've got so far.
Well, it's been great reads, and I think one of the key things... You love to see Batty getting hyped down on that stage. For KOI, it's all about the changes from what we've seen in previous games. In so many of these previous engagements, they would have been on their own. They would have been isolated in those battles, and it would have fallen on the shoulders of individuals. Here, yes, Natank has a great individual round, but at no point is he on his own. He always is a teammate. In fact, he dives in to help out his buddy Flya, who was getting swarmed. And this is what we wanted to see from KOI, because sometimes it's felt like they're a little bit disconnected in their previous matches. Now they're all singing from the same hymn sheet.
And I think that's the most important thing now, is the Karma core coaching staff have to get their guys onto that same sheet of how are we going to deal with what we're now seeing in front of us. We've played the first 4 rounds. Let's make some adaptations. And we can start to see perhaps some of those adaptations in these coming bye rounds.
Yeah, I think also whenever I see that dimensional drift online for Martin, I want to almost just take a pause and go like, right, we have 1,500 ideas of what this guy's going to do. I think a lot of the time you'll see him take space towards the B site and just basically cause havoc. And it does seem like KOI have got the right read here. They are set up to try and pressure him.
So far, it's been all about KOI. Good stun here. Ult's going to be used. Martin keeping himself alive, but it leaves Sugetsu isolated. Sadak at least managing the trade. Can Martin get anything from this? Will he be bailing right back out of here? No, he's playing deep. He's looking for the control, at least faking it out. Decoy sent through. They've heard him come out of ult, but they haven't heard him TP away. Now there's going to be an eye watching the back. Monster split from the fight. And it looks like they, I thought concede the space, but he's going to go back and re-clear it. This is valuable map control to have when push comes to shove.
I like Natank actually taking the time just to make sure that, okay, he didn't stick around. He's actually left, and then they've got aggressive control as well, deep over on that A side of the map. So actually a decent amount of information here for Movistar KOI, and they're already wrapping back into that B site.
It's a great read. Aves is ready for that re-push, though, and he'll catch Natank, putting the numbers back in their favor. Showstopper dodged. Filu fell right back in the stun, even managed to slow Aves down. Still, though, Koi have got the numbers, and now they've got the plant coming through, and a late flank as well from Elite. That could be pivotal. With Avez already down, they're going to struggle to keep these players at bay. The flood is already underway, and it's Vilu doubling up his third of the round as the flank finally comes through. But it could be too little too late. He knows with the smoke down, that's going to be stuck. Has to pick up the pace through, and they triple swing. Another moment where you see Koi make perfect reads, great adaptations, and they'll get a 5th round as a result.
It's a good post-timeout round. Nice and simple, 1-3-1. We're going to go for some aggression in B main, use our util off of our drone. Okay, sure, Filu's hitting a lot of these shots. They're able to close out the rounds quite comfortably. When they've got this number advantage, they're looking for them in the server, and so far KC aren't showing up. But now, let's see what they've got. Things around this Fade ult, okay? Things around any of the Omen ult rounds that might be coming up in their strap hook as well.
Yeah, the worry for me, though, is like this is, at least in terms of starts, maybe the best start we've seen out of Filu. He's been like a bit of a non-starter in a lot of the maps for Marvi Star Koi, but if he's on, feeling it like he is on the stage, that retake mostly came down to him individually. This is looking like a very different team. And wow, he's just sending it. He has a lot of supportive utility, and the darts helped him out. But even still, Elite, I was going to say, has managed to stabilize, but then the shock dart finds one as well.
It was the damage done by Filu. A well-placed shock dart in return. Sagetsu low, and he falls to just one. Hunter's Fury online, sent through. They almost managed to catch Flya through it, and they will catch Natank. The deep push forces Flya's hand, and he falls. That's an advantage. Slipped away, and ult committed for it as well. And now Movistar Koi are on the back foot. They continue to snowball into this play. KC, they were on the back foot, especially with the shock dart trade, but now it's Batty G in a 1v3.
Cover going out.
There's always hope.
Belief is everything, I heard.
Yeah, that's what they say. Don't know who they are, but maybe it works sometimes. Elite's already been found, but the other two are looking to group, although they're a little bit disjointed. And Batty G has kept it going. That was looking like a done deal, sealed and delivered, but somehow, well, belief is everything.
Hate to say I told you so.
Oh, what a rebel clutch coming out of Batty G.
That's unbelievable. He's looking the wrong way, coming through the smoke. Isolating the 1v2 backside. Ava's a little ahead, but that should have been Sadek's kill. And Batty's on his feet. You know, we mentioned that Filu, this could be his best start that he's had, but it's not just about the individual showing up. It's about the fact that the team's looking better. Batty G matching up pound for pound, and now this is not just Filu's, it's not just Batty's best start. This is Koi's best start. A 6-0 commanding lead.
I think coming into this match as well, you'd have talked about the idea that if KC are going to make a run to champs, you want this one to be clean. And not in the other direction.
No, but I do know this feeling starting on Rough on Lotus. A couple of people dominating.
Yeah, did you start? You started on the. No, wait, you started defense.
We started defense, unfortunately, and so far it looks like Movistar Koi are giving an absolute masterclass on this defense side.
Yeah, this has been hard to break through. Where's the kill? It's Martin.
He was aiming at Batty G, yeah.
Monster able to walk through for a triple. That looked too easy from his perspective, and for Koi, they've got to be laughing. That's the economy in the bin for KC.
You know what's crazy? Like, I think almost every week that I've ever seen Uri, who's one of the Spanish casters, he goes, I've predicted Koi to win this week, and I've gone, good one, Uri. That's nice. Thanks for sharing. It's looking all right now.
It's not looking too bad. No. But I think this is... We've seen it time and time again this year. This is where things start to get worrying, okay? We've got this anti-eco round for Movistar Koi now. They should be winning it, albeit KC seems to be looking to make the most of B-main.
You know what's nice to know? Pao only starts getting worried when he's 7-0 down. That's a confident coach.
Yeah, but it's the thing that you start to get worried about is when you see little rounds like that, where individually the players are not competing at the same level as you would expect them to. Where you start to realize it's a little bit more psychological, and not so much about the quality of what they can deliver in the server.
And what do you do in that moment?
Get Nats to give you a speech, apparently. Get Yampy to start barking. He's good at that as well.
I heard he learned it all from you.
Did you?
Yeah.
I need to find who's telling you these sort of things, Tom.
If Koi 13-0, will you give us one?
Absolutely.
Oh, come on. They win the series, their first win.
Back-to-back 13-0.
Doesn't make me feel any better.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Oh, KC, it's an awful start here. It's good to know, though, that we won't see a pause out of PAL before the 7-0 mark in future.
You never know. I am expecting, possibly, a second one out of Carmine Core coming pretty soon. Left. See how they get on in this eco. See how they get on perhaps in the next buy round. And when we see these next rotation of their key power ults, their Raze ult, their Yoru ult coming into play, perhaps they'll use the time to cook something up with them.
I love the idea from Koi here to stay so far back. I mean, look at the control they've given up. They're not fighting for that A space. They're not fighting for B either. They'll allow them in to go for the plant, confident in the retakes. If they get a foothold, Viper's Pit, but you're up against Pistol. All you got to do is concede that space, play those individual fights, and they're splitting up. They're going in for this play towards the door. The stun was there, but Elite is there as well. He's found two, isolating the battles one at a time, and although Fly's flash was fading, he's the last man standing after his pick. They deal with this wonderfully on the side of KC. This is the round where they come in with pistols. They're avoiding any of those early fights on Movistar Koi, but they didn't find anything on the retake.
A pay save card Thrifty as well to get it over the line. It took quite a bit for them to find it. And I do feel like one of the glimmers that have been there for KC has been Elite. Like the round that they should have won, he played incredibly well, getting them 3 opening picks. It's more so the fact that we haven't seen too much so far from the likes of Sugetsu, Sadak, Martine, who, well, at least 2 of those you expect to be getting a lot of frags every game.
Of course, Sadak's always one of them.
Which one isn't? Nah, that backfired, didn't it?
They didn't play early.
An early Viper's Pit as well, being thrown in. That's the thing, the ult economy and, well, the credit economy is still firmly in the favor of Movistar Koi. This is a chance for KC to build back into the match, but it kind of needs to be now.
Yeah, nice simple round out of Movistar Koi. Lock down that C site, prevent any early over-aggression, and just fight for the A space. Pick up that orb, get that Rolling Thunder online. Now you've got somewhere to use it.
There was a stat earlier about Koi's retakes. They haven't been great. We saw in the previous, up against the Pistols even, they managed to falter. Perhaps confident that they can get it done. Rolling Thunder through. It's a deep play from Sugetsu. A lot of space taken, and they're going to use this to link up towards this A site. They've traded space with the defenders, and Sugetsu holds that space, taking down Monster. Movistar Koi
isolated, though.
On the back foot, but yeah, they're still maintaining this control towards Rubble.
That's the problem. They don't actually have a way to cross. They're going to need to fight back into these players, and it seems like the pause from Movistar Koi could actually work out for them. Just patient play, 20 seconds now, and they are losing every single fight. It was looking so good for them, but now the remaining 2. 15 seconds to try and run in, and Bilu is just an unstoppable force. Elite, last man standing, and well, at this stage, there is no hope. It was looking like they had, well, the building blocks to a good round, but it was just that spike being on the wrong player.
That's so tough. We saw Movistar Koi really utilizing both of their key big power ults in that round. They've got the round that matters. However, now it does leave a little bit of room open for Carmine Core to actually start to use some of theirs. Raze ult, Yoru ult, Fade ult coming out to potentially get themselves at least 1 or 2 more out of these last 3 rounds.
The worry, though, is that I feel like the ults played very little part in that round. Like, you had the B site taken, Rolling Thunder was huge. They managed to reposition to get out of there. And then even when those ults were off the board, they just lost the fight.
Yeah, I think that's a good reaction out of KC, if anything. It's quite a set, simple plan from Movistar Koi that they executed quite well, and it should have played a big role in that round. But actually, KC managed to escape really, really well. I think the reactive from the shadows from Sugetsu in towards spawn was really, really nice. It opened up that space. It gave that info for the rest of the push to come through the site. That is a very emotional timeout for someone that's going to be this far in the lead.
This is their timeout as well. Movistar Koi are the ones calling it in such a stark lead. As well, you look at how that previous round played out with the fact that KC had the right idea when they got to A. At least in my opinion, they go towards the door with the 2 players. They decide, okay, we're probably going to have to fight for the space to get that spike across. Maybe not aware that there's going to be 2 instead of just the 1 there. But losing all of those fights, I expected that to be a KC timeout.
Of course, it's a very, very rare thing to see, calling a timeout when you're this far ahead. But I think it's something that some people like to do, just to make sure they've got a plan for the last 3 rounds to keep themselves this far ahead.
Early stuns again. Aves has managed to get past it, and the reveal was solid, but even still, the trades are good. Up until the reswing from Flyer. Hasn't worked out in their favor. Now you kind of expect KC to slow down a little. You've already got the advantage. You still have a couple of Prowlers to play with. There's plenty to be able to clear.
I know exactly
wow.
when.
His spot's no longer that valuable.
And no element of surprise. Spams in the cage, not working out either, and they're going to push into that space. I think they've sensed the weakness, and the jump peek across opens the door for Sadek. Now the retake for Movistar Koi, something that, as the stat just said, they won none of their 7 up against Team Liquid last week, and this time it's an AWP that they'll be throwing into it. They've got the credits to throw away. And then the 2v4, Nightfall online for KC, no space on this side. Monster's already called for that rotate, for that save towards the C site. But as we said, they've got credits. Batty can try to make this costly.
The thing that I'm looking at now is, can Martin get one more pick and get himself and his team 3 key ults going into this penultimate round? If they can be given the chance to cook something up, possibly in that timeout that Eng was given as well, it could be a very nice little finish for the round and a little bit of momentum back in KC's favor.
Last player standing.
Batty G, of course, has the credits, so just trying to make things as costly as possible. I think the same can happen. I imagine we're going to see that C control challenge for, but
yeah,
with an operator in hand, that could actually make things interesting. I wonder if that was actually the read in the previous round, was just like, okay, let's have the operator to try and counter them going for that initial orb control.
And this is where the mind games start to come in. Post timeout, we've seen KC go very straight, very hard, very fast towards A. Now they're one off of Martin's ult. Are they going to do the same again? Looks like they are, but Koi still have to be worried about that chance that they do it towards C instead.
They put some early pings down towards B, so that seems to be the point of contention for Filu and the operator. Not so much of a challenge on this A side of the map, so it does mean that Koi are going to have to try and retake some of that control, and that's where Filu comes in once again.
Viper wall goes down just as Filu fills the space. No smoke for him just yet. He's not going to be breaking that Prowler. It's left to a teammate. He doesn't want to give away that the AWP is sat here staring, but KC won't walk into it. Playing this one safe and the rotate back. Although one player's pushing up towards B, that'll just be a late embed from Elite. Maybe even a play towards the door. The plan here is to take that C space where Monster before had an AWP, this time just with a rifle in hand. Still has that snake bite, good ability to delay, and that might be needed considering how far away everyone else is.
Reed, at least initially, was on the other side of the map, but Flyer is going to rotate in for support. Have that little bit of extra delay.
B split through Waterfall with the Oro ult. Yeah, nice.
This is what Martin loves to do. Get in behind, have that extra little bit of information. Ults being expended immediately, and well, to be fair, all 3 have gone, and what they've gained is forcing players back into Sugetsu. This is now becoming difficult. The tank going alone, it doesn't make things any easier for the remaining players. They still have a lot of ground to try and pick back up. Monster would have to win this fight and clean it. You know what he does? I think it was Elite swapping between weapons. It didn't look like he was ready for it. It won't matter in the end, though. It's all left on to Monster alone. And it seems like he's maybe going to try and bait the save of the gun. He still has credits to spare, but ultimately, it is going to be that 3rd round for KC.
That is a lovely round. The fact that we get that early insert towards A after the A default, then they cancel, come back, straight towards C, have another insert towards B main, that Elite's able to take that space himself, then use the ult and their ult advantage in the round to path through more lanes than normal to split that B site, and still have that late lurk towards A to cut the retakes off. It's fantastic. At that point, as we saw, Movistar Koi can't do much. They haven't got enough space to work with on that retake.
Can you do that again without 3 ults?
No. It's a good one, but they only need one more round out of it to get the last little bit of momentum they need going into that second half.
Yeah, an 8-4 half still possible. That operator recovered from the corpse of Filu by Sugetsu. He's given it over to Avez, and it's going to be used for this early fight, the C space that haven't really looked for in a lot of the early rounds. Spikes alone, taking a bit of a fight, but Sadek gets out of there. All is well. It's the fight towards this C site that really matters, and for Batty G, he wants to commit. Going out a little wide on the angle. Oh, goodness. The smoke down is delaying them, and they're using that delay to push up on a wonderful bit of aggression from Movistar Koi. And as you said, they've spotted the spike. More importantly, they know that at least the initial plan was to go towards the other side of the map.
of an unusual drone spot. He knows they're in the spawn. Now they're going to re-aggress. I love this. Movistar KOI have been continuously re-aggressing around the map, taking space away from their opponents and having the drop on them the majority of the time. There is nothing to really spot them on that flank. Unless Sugatsu decides to wrap back around, they could be in some real trouble here.
They'll be kicking themselves. Elite has a trip, but he didn't put it down. That's cost Avez's life. One player, and that's enough for KOI. They're happy with what they've gotten out of this situation. The late play, look where Sugetsu is, other side of the map. They're split up. Filu on low HP, the fight on C. Oh! Filu taken down. The wallbang was enough with his 17 health left. They should know Monster was around here. And they're certainly conscious that they don't have main control, but Sugetsu wasn't. He goes walking in, and it's Monster to drop him. A 3v2, the retakes from KOI, we saw it. They haven't been great. Nothing to really help them out on this one, and Batty G, when he steps back in here, he doesn't know his paranoia hasn't hit. Martine punishes. They're fading away. The time ticking. They've at least got boots on the ground.
Better chances that KC have had an attack. He's just sticking it. He's just trying to stick it all the way. His teammate defending, and they'll do it again. All these rounds that seem to be opportunities for KC, Movistar KOI will steal them away, and they're going to come out with a 9-3 half.
Wonderful display from Movistar KOI, a 9-round half to kick off this series. There's much more to come, though, after the break.
One enemy remaining.
Well, a great display from Movistar KOI to kick us off here, Pal and Tom. And of course, Pal, you're here with us. It's been a pleasure running through this with you. We wanted to introduce the fans at home to you. So we got a couple of fun facts about our co-caster, Pal, or as we call him, Wee Greg.
Wee Greg, I've heard that you spent a lot of time in a bath. You're living the spa life. You're actually Scottish.
You might not know that.
Will surprise a lot of people. Someone told me you once participated in a Twitch dating show. I don't know where that came from.
Man.
He commissions fan edits of himself. That's an interesting one.
Prophet told me
that. I don't know who put that one in. That definitely wasn't me, like genuinely.
Well, I don't think any of those would be on people's bingo cards, and definitely wasn't on mine for how today was going to go. I think actually the production need to fact check a lot of those, not the actually Scottish one, despite how many people will call me a fraud. The rest perhaps need to be questioned.
Have you spent a lot of time in a bath?
A place, yeah, a place called a bath. Normally prefer a shower myself, but you know.
You're welcome.
That's all right, not a problem.
Well, that's our co-caster, Wee Greg, on socials. It's great having you here with us. It's been a fun first half, but plenty more Valorant about to get underway. 9 rounds when we left you, and it's Movistar KOI who have had command of that first half, but we had a wee resurgence towards the end of that half from KC.
Let's see if they can turn it into something else.
Don't worry, that's it. That's it. That was it. Don't worry. Oh, okay.
That's
there
not
you
it
go.
from KC.
Blink and you miss it. It's not quite the fastest pistol of all time. Damn, the tank surviving too long. We'll see if he can do any extra damage, maybe earn a few extra orbs, but we've already seen last time this map was played, it was an 8-4 defensive half versus Apex for the side of KC. So they've already proven that the defense can be their stronger side. But this was very impressive from Martin.
This is exactly what you want to see. Coming straight out of the blocks into the second half. You know you're down, but you've got that bravery to still go out there, stick together, and just hit those shots when it counts. That's what you're looking for in a coach.
So much, guys. Let's go.
This is exactly right. That's what they needed. Now time to go and make the most of it. Don't lose an anti-eco now.
And how important is it really when you're at this kind of a deficit to have that pistol round under your belt, to have those quick fights? You think that's going to boost the morale for the boys?
Yeah, absolutely. The more that you can speed yourselves up into that regaining of momentum, the better it's going to be. The longer time the rounds go on for, the more it's drawn out, the more you leave time to question yourself. Is it possible? Are we doing the right thing? Are we just going to win a couple of rounds and then we're going to let it slip and go away at the end? But the pistol's a massive one. It gets the economy going, gets the ults going. That's what you're going to start with if you want some sort of comeback.
Something I want to ask. So you're looking at, obviously we spoke about Movistar KOI's comp for the defense, being more aggressive, having that potential to challenge. What do you think of it for the attack?
I think it should be stronger, theoretically, on the attack side. Purely from the fact that, okay, looking at how much utility they have to be able to just jump on the side, it's not made much of a difference this round as KC just clean everybody but Monster up. But when they're going against a comp where you've got Aves and Martin running that double duelist, you should have a lot more utility to win those fights, to push these key players out of the positions that they can play comfortably from, and then allow you to scale in behind. And at that point, you've got much better positions than they do.
Well, you saw that there were a few pistols in play there. Sugetsu, a man who's made it work with those in the past. He's had some really impressive weeks. Looking at the start of stage 2 here, you think back to the Sunset, where he was really making a name for himself.
Week he was insane.
Yeah.
It's all you need. Just look at the stats. I don't think I need to tell you too much more. He's getting more than a kill per round. He's getting 260 plus ACS. The guy had an incredible week. He's had a slow start today, but that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot more rounds to come.
Won't last long. Definitely one of the players you look to as they make this climb back. Bonus round for KC strong. They bought up a Vandal as well, but it's the Outlaw to open things up. A double to start. They're trading it back, and Aves is now taking them into the lead. Fly attacked and taken down. It's KC stringing the rounds together.
The fact is as well, you look at the way that round started, you mentioned it. Putting the utility in to make things more awkward. Initially, it did look more awkward. Then the util wore off, and they just all swung at once.
And that's the thing, if you're not making the most of this Breach and Sova Omen util, and actually getting your duelist in behind it, then you're giving KC all of the space to get Martin, to get Sadak, to get Aves in behind that util. He is so up for it. That's exactly what you want to see from one of your teammates as soon as you get into a second half like this.
Aves on his feet. KC definitely feeling that momentum back in their favor. A 3-round gap facing an eco here as well. The Outlaw as dangerous as ever. Great nade too from Aves. That's doing a lot of damage, as is the spam afterwards. And they're ready for that deeper control.
Here we go.
It is a textbook round from KC. An in-zone flawless. And now the gap is down to just 2.
Credits through the roof as well. Like, as dream starts go, this is about as good as it gets. 4-0 up. You're coming in with an ultimate ready for Martin as well with the Dimension Drift. One away from a showstopper. Your double duelist both popping off the second this second half begins. And on the other side, okay, the tank's almost got the Hunter's Fury, but it's very situational, and you have to get that extra orb.
We're into round 17. Double digits still evading Movistar KOI, but now they've got a full buy. Batty G, good for 2. That aggression. It looked like they put the pieces together, but they didn't clear the close corner. Martin, he's made it out, but Sadek's not quite able to follow him. The gate crash.
A sacrifice was made.
That's twice he's done that.
Yeah.
Did it Sugetsu and B main earlier.
Outside B. Outside that broken door, he's leaving his teammates. But can he recover the round in the end? That AWP can still be a thorn in their side. If Elite gets this control, then it becomes very difficult for the players on site, but Monster stops him in his tracks, and the conversation may switch now to a save for Martin. It's a big gun in his possession. The shot hit, He's sticking around, but finally he'll be bailing out to carry this weapon forward.
Good response, but I also feel like that was maybe just a bit of an overextension. The angle close, not cleared. I think giving that initial double over to Batty G, and well, in the end, Monster's even there to clean up the remaining pieces. It's not going to do too much damage. KC is still very comfortably able to buy into this next round, and the ults weren't used, so I don't think it's too much of a problem, but I don't think that this is going to happen again.
Sometimes you just got to make your play, right? And Batty G certainly did. Hit by the paranoia, goes deep, and it caught them off guard. They didn't expect such a risky maneuver. The Monster does very well to clean up, even finding that last kill. That removes the AWP, and it means a big reinvestment if KC wanted in this round, which clearly they do.
Again, in terms of Sugetsu's aggression, a lot less support to what we saw in some of the early rounds. He's just sent it again. They are just trying to fight them tooth and nail, and well, when the full force of the squad are on the other side, that one became a little bit easier for Koi.
It is, it's Monster that's stepping up and really making his impact count.
Who highlighted him earlier on?
Someone doesn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, okay, good. So it wasn't me.
It was a lucky guess. I'll chalk it down to that. Now he has very much come into his own. These last two rounds, especially for Movistar Koi, who were struggling to put double digits on the board. They now take one step closer to ultimate victory on their map pick for KC. Saving these weapons, the name of the game. They can't risk losing that off. It won't be there for the next. Sugetsu's got a lot of credits, but spreading them around and putting it all into just one round might not be the way to go. I like the call for the reset, but Movistar Koi now just 2 away from closing out the map.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised with how committed Sugetsu was to that initial fight. Like, that was him sending it. I think it was through the Neon utility, and well, the man that was there to meet on the other side was Monster, who has been having a pretty impressive game so far.
Yeah, this is a guy, as we said, coming up from the Tier 2. He's done his time. This is his moment in the spotlight. And on another Spanish team as well. He's been around Giants, Heretics, Viva España, and of course, winning East twice. He certainly had his accolades before, but now rising from that academy team onto the main roster. And looking to find this map win and maybe their first series win of Stage 2.
I wonder if we told him that he was on camera that whole time, if he kept doing what he was doing. No, he's someone I think that many who have seen him within the Tier 2, especially when he was on the likes of Ascend, were sort of expecting him to be in Tier 1 for a while. Like, it wasn't someone, especially when, I think it was when they finished, what, like 3rd at Ascension? Yep. The fact that he didn't get that move up was a massive surprise to me.
Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of respect to him for choosing perhaps other more important things in life than being part of competitive esports teams, but getting those priorities out of the way. And now, still trusting himself that when he does get that final opportunity, he can actually deliver when it counts.
And he likes to sing.
And he likes to
karaoke.
I've heard you like to sing as well.
Give us one, pal. Bring us into the round. The sonnet.
Let's not break the stream.
You're no Gurney Halleck, are you?
This goes here. This is a nice spot.
Who told you I can sing that? And how much did you enjoy that story?
Keep our sources close to our chest.
Yeah, still good. Well, nonetheless, saved by the game. It's already going to be some early utility in the Viper screen and the neon walls thrown in on that A side. There's held 4 players from KC on that side of the map, and now they look to pressure into Elite setup. The problem, though, is the quick rotation of Martin, and the rest of the team now flooding back through the B site. Not going to be as empty as maybe they'd hoped if they're to hit this site.
Hunter's Fury put through, clearing those corners, catching a tag as well. Fielu, he's going to be caught up, and the tank manages to trade it out. Monster taking advantage of the space. He almost caught one off, but there's so many bodies on this site. Movistar Koi still managing to keep it even, Steven, for now, but they're pushed out. The name stops re-aggression, and the kill from Aves goes untraded. KC, 3 versus 2. Martin with the dimensional drift if they need that info later, and they may well do, as I doubt Movistar Koi are going to go pushing through that smoke at this stage. A freeze for now, but only 40 seconds on the clock.
Martin just ults just to check. This is a crunch round for them. Well, never mind. The swing into the double setup. We've seen that one before. And leaving the tank on such low HP. It would be one for the ages, but I think at this stage he almost just has to try and retreat and save the gun.
Yeah, that's not a setup you should be beating anytime soon. A pretty useful setup for anyone that wants a little bit of just coordination. Get someone hand standing, some sort of box, get someone crouching below. Should be job done. One person swinging off of their contact as well. Nice. Simple stuff being delivered in moments of pressure where they're still behind. That's
a lineup.
That's a lineup of all
Note
time.
that one down, pal.
Yep, I will.
See that on your next Lotus.
Yampy, where are you?
Yampy, you taking notes?
Get that.
He's got it. He's got it down. He's clipping the VOD right now. 11-8. Nice stuff from KC. They'll win back around, but this was a great read by them. They had so many players, 4 players here. By the time that Movistar Koi came to push it into the site, and you could see that there were opportunities there for players. Oh, come on now.
Well, it just felt a little slow. I think that was it. The initial fake that they threw in on the A site worked. It held 4 players there, but then they were just a little bit slow to get into the C site. And by that point, especially...
Huh. He's got the info.
That was a very bold call.
Info acquired. Problem is, the man advantage is acquired by their opponents. Movistar Koi, well, they have to feel like they were gifted that opening duel.
I like this re-clear from them, though. Instantly, Sugetsu and Martin, they realize they're in a man disadvantage. They put a smoke in, and they just start walking themselves forward. They're ready to fight as 3. And if they hear nothing like this, right, they contact straight through, they can make the read, and now we start to see those rotations coming in.
I think maybe Sadak has picked up one of Scream's old notepads. And that's where that lineup came from.
Lineups?
Even still. Hey, there was that one that distracted Red Gun, never forget. C-site completely open. They've gambled on B. It will give them a quick enough rotation, and especially with Martin's ult, it allows for a retake, but just look at the post-plant utility, or more so the ultimates. You can already throw in a Viper's Pit if you desire, Rolling Thunder to slow them down, and well, I don't think they're going to need it at this stage. Already another and another falling. Bilu is having a field day, and a 12th round is all but guaranteed.
Martin has no chance of taking this one across the line, and a glance at the credits shows some players low. He's got 4K in the back pocket. Saving this guarantees an easy drop onto Sadak, opens up an option for them to take an op into the next. Stick around to try and make it costly. The save should be gifted to him.
What I want to see out of Martin now, if I'm honest, is trying to counter this Viper Wall usage towards A from Koi. They're playing very, very straight, but at the same time, KC are trying to fight that just as packed. Doing like they do on their attack side, getting the Yoru, getting the Raze in there. Actually using that gate crash from Martin, placing him quite deep on the other side of the Viper util, so you don't have to do this, Sadak, would actually...
Hello!
Throw the reveal, set up your duelist on your side of the Viper Wall if you can, keep that information. It's going to make him
if we win
reads
rounds, we can have momentum, guys, okay?
That is true. If you win rounds, you can have momentum. If you lose rounds, the other team has momentum.
And if you peek an off with a haunt in your hand,
you're probably going to die. Let's see if they change it up and start to get a bit more space towards C instead now.
Oh, immediately, we're going to see that C site push up. Tongue. We're going to get a little bit of information, but the door spinning might just give the game away. Operator waiting on the other side, but the flash is sublime, and the follow-up utility makes it incredibly awkward for those Koi players to fight. And I like the immediate fallback from KC.
Flash and a Prowler. He had no chance. Now the options for Koi seem limited, and it looks like a split into B is where they're going to take this. Space taken by Monster. He's moved towards the door already, and KC conceding the space entirely. And it's no surprise. Take a look at the old sim play. They lose the B site. As long as they don't lose a player with it, they'll be in a 5v2, as I was going to say. Retake, and of course they have the Nightfall if needed. So even with that pick, I mean, the advantages have just compounded for this defensive side. They've got full control, and it's on Monster and Flya to try to turn the tide back in their favor.
Look at the double up. They're expecting to push through, and even with the stun, it couldn't quite catch everybody. Flyer.
30 seconds left.
Well, it'd be one of the greatest clutches we've ever seen. Gonna hazard a guess that it won't be, and especially with 12 rounds on the board, the opposing side being incredibly careful. It is gonna be a very clean round.
This is bread and butter KC defense. We've seen this as far back as them playing Split last year in kickoff with a double duelist. They will take the fights all together in the early round. Here, the Prowler, the Flash off the back of it. They've got good players in positions to be able to hit their shots when it counts. And then they group once they have that advantage. They give a space away so that they can maintain that player advantage, because they value that way more than just simply holding onto the space and putting individual players at more risk. So now, what we need to see out of Movistar KOI is, okay, how do we potentially bait those fights? How do we bait those overcommits from KC on their defense, and then be able to reactively play away from that into the space that they're then going to give us?
Yeah. And an in-zone flawless as well for KC on the other side. It's going to be one of those things where you go, okay, alarm bells from Movistar KOI. Like, we've lost a round dominantly. Let's take a pause. Let's slow it down, because you have to bear in mind, they were in an incredibly good position early on, and it has been a slow fight back in the second half from KC.
Yeah, I think it's always that question in the back of your head. But now what Movistar and KOI need to do is just keep it nice and simple. Don't overcomplicate stuff. Don't try and find the genius solution. You've got a Viper's Pit. You've got a Rolling Thunder. You can combine them plus maybe a third ult in one of your rounds, and that will get you across the line.
So I have a question. So take yesterday.
Yes,
when
that's
your
what they should have
opponent called a pause,
Yeah.
is that in your head, are you going, we got it? Like, is there a part of you that goes like, now they're worried?
It's yes and no. It depends on the coaching staff on the other side and how much you
So who
know
are you not
about
worried
them.
about?
But I'm always grateful to be given a pause, put it that way.
Well, Movistar KOI started out this map setting the tempo, but it's KC finding their own rhythm. 3 rounds in a row needed. An early Rolling Thunder put through by Flya. This pressure towards the B site, but no players behind it. You know what that means? Fake pressure. And KC are just about to find that out as they see no one come through the gates, no further utility, and the door open on the A site. A retake may be needed at this point. They've got Martin to be the human recon drone, and he'll be popping that dimensional drift for that exact purpose.
It's also, it makes things more awkward in terms of that Viper's Pit. They want to try and get into the post plant over on the attack side. The jump down though from Sanak's core, but Elite is there. The trade's looking incredibly good for Movistar KOI with Sugetsu still deep within enemy lines. Martin realizing he needs to try and move on this, but instead will look for a gap elsewhere, wrapping around the edge. Isn't going to be revealed by the dart. There's not too many places he could be. He wins that first, and now left down to just one. Monster has to try and retrieve the spike. That's a bigger issue. It's now defended, but he'll do it anyway. Swinging in Movistar KOI. We looked at this map as a risk, but that risk has paid off.